Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This video is going to be short and sweet, going to get straight to the point. We're going to be breaking down a Cairne deck for Gnomeregan, and then using annotation and diagrams, I'm going to show you the tactics for each of the bosses in Gnomeregan in more detail. Hopefully this video will be really useful for you this week. It will teach you the tactics of the bosses and hopefully give you a Cairne deck that you can use to run. Now, I used to do no talents as well as talent versions of these decks. I'm not doing that anymore, just simply because it's too difficult with the levels of dungeons that I'm at. I beat a level 28 dungeon, which is 2.6 levels above my Cairne deck, and it's too hard to do that without talents. You know, no talents can get you so far, but obviously you need talents realistically to kind of push the red level dungeon, and this is pushing the red level dungeon. So we're pushing level 28, 2.6 levels above my deck level, which is red levels on the dungeon overall. Let's break down the deck then. Let's have a look at it in more detail. Cairne. I use reincarnation on Cairne, but it doesn't actually matter which talent you pick for Cairne, because you don't actually play Cairne all that often. He's kind of more of a, oh, I really need to play something. He's a good defensive unit, but frankly isn't used that much. Most useful in the second level, but other than that, you won't probably play Cairne that much in this game. The whole deck revolves around Troll Headhunter or Darkspear Troll with Big Bad Voodoo. Cairne plus Darkspear Troll, huge HP boost. Big Bad Voodoo comes in massively useful. He is the linchpin of this composition. Everything here is designed to support Troll Headhunter. We have Execute with Bloodlust. Really good on the second level for taking the towers. Also really good at chipping away at the bosses. We have Coming in Hot and Safe Pilot. But you could also run Gnomish Cloaking Device. To be honest with you, you can run whatever talent that you want and Execute as well. Flame Burst and Well Pegs, that's pretty much non-negotiable. Absolutely necessary for both the first and the second boss, realistically. Honestly, I'd actually probably run the Poison on my Defias Bandits because there isn't that many opportunities to get a good lockpick on this level. The second level is very difficult to actually get Defias Bandits to reliably unlock the chest, and the first level, you're usually sending your Darkspear Troll or something more highly valuable upwards, and you have a very, very slow respawn timer on the chest around the meeting stone. So whilst it is useful, you get less value out of pick lock than you do on other dungeons. So really, any talent on Defias Bandits is okay. And I would say for Quillbore, Bristleback is the best, mostly because the chicken packs that spawn in the first level, if you spawn a Quillbore with Bristleback in the middle of the chicken pack, they will basically kill themselves. So really important that you have that. It helps support and protect your Darkspear Troll when you don't have something else to kill the chickens like the Safe Pilot or the Flame Burst Well Pegs. So let's get into the video. I'm going to break down each boss with annotations. It'll be a good fun. You'll learn a lot. See you in a minute. All right, guys. So this is Gnomeregan. We're going to do a quick run through with some sort of annotations, etc. This is my first set of relics. They're all pretty bad. This is glazed cannon, so double damage but half HP. Gauntlets of Determination. I increase the level of my leader every time I play it. And then Bloodshot Greaves, which basically means when you've only got 3 minis or less on the field, they all gain Bloodlust. Terrible, because the whole point we take Cairne is to get increased HP on our Troll Headhunter. Terrible, because we never play Cairne. It's a really, really expensive unit, and it's also massively underleveled. And kind of like, well, kind of terrible, but not the worst. So we have to take the best of a bad bunch in this scenario, which is going to be the Bloodshot Greaves. Now I'm going to skip to the start of the level, which is here. And then we're going to talk about tactics. So, very simple. Ideally, and I have reviewed this, and I don't actually execute this the way that I'm telling you to execute this, but if I were to do it again, I would do it this way. Troll Headhunter, pretty much always be sent this way. Why? You want to pick up the belt that spawns here, and you want this chest. Defias Bandits go this way. You want to control this meeting stone for as long as possible. Not only does it allow you to send a kobold to this mine, and then a mine that's kind of down here, it also means you can attack the boss and take the other belt spawn, which is over here, which you can probably see me hopefully drawing off screen. Why do we want the belt spawns? Well, for 2 reasons. It makes you invulnerable to all damage as well as the effects from the boss. And it also stops the enemy spawning a free safe pilot. If you leave the belts up long enough, the enemy will spawn a safe pilot on them, which basically means a free safe pilot for them. It's a pretty simple boss. You just need to keep doing that over and over again on repeat until the boss dies. Now, this wasn't a perfectly executed one for me. I've had much better runs at this boss, but yeah, it's not too bad. Now we're going to use Execute there. Why are we using Execute? We want to make sure that we get this chest. We don't want to lose our Defias Bandits. And also, I think it's a quite a decent place to liberally use Execute. Now, we were very slow using Safe Pilot in response to the chickens, and we also placed it horrifically, which means that my Troll Headhunter ends up dying there, which is not great. But we have another one ready to go. We've cycled through, and it's not too bad. We could probably put a kobold. Yes, we put a kobold down here. You're going to notice this kobold is going to go from this mine to this mine, which is exactly what we want to do. You're going to see we spawn a... Why do we spawn a Quillbore there? Do we spawn a Quillbore just to cycle something? I think we spawned a Quillbore there just to cycle something. Going to spawn some Defias Bandits to go and take this chest. Retake this over here. We'll use a Safe Pilot to take out the eggs. We'll use... Sorry, the chickens. We'll use a Wellpegs to take out this Harvest Golem, which is exactly what we want. That Safe Pilot then gets immediately killed as well. We're just looking to potentially use a Execute if we need to. We're going to cycle out another Kobold, which is great, into another Darkspear Troll. And this is where you're going to start seeing some damage done to the boss. Darkspear Troll picks up this... he picks up the belt, so that kind of makes him invulnerable to all that damage. It also means that we can start to get some real DPS. Now, this boss can be tanked away. We're also going to use Execute. He'll knock both of our minis away, but obviously our Darkspear Troll has got Big Bad Voodoo, so he's going to regenerate that HP and go back for a second round. We'll pick up this belt now with another Darkspear Troll. And you're probably noticing that the general approach to this is kind of like Darkspear Troll picks up invulnerability and then just walks at the boss and kills him. That is essentially what we are doing here. The boss is at this kind of the low range where we could probably win just by cycling Executes, but I'm going to play it a little bit safe just in case we end up getting caught out, but it's not too bad. See here, Darkspear Troll is going to make it over. Does get stabbed, unfortunately, but gets knocked towards the boss. We're going to Execute there. And actually now we are in that stage where we just want to basically either use... basically cycle back out to Execute. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cycle... We'll pick up this this Meeting Stone. We'll use a Kobold just to try and get some gold back on the pitch. We then have a Defias Bandits, which we can cycle out really quickly. And then one more Execute will do the job. So you can see here that we have a Quillbore that might even finish the job by himself, or very close to, but Execute or Wellpegs would have finished it regardless. So very simple. It is honestly as simple as that. Just take the belt, run at the boss. It really doesn't need much more than that. Used to do this with Gargoyle, but Gargoyle ends up being a bit clunky for further levels. Now we're gonna move down. So let's have a look at the next. Okay, so go back. Here we go. Right, relic choice. Range minis gain poison, elemental minis gain shock, and then you summon Wellpegs when you summon Cairne. Well, we never summon Cairne, so that's off the mark. This is okay, and this basically gives us a free poison talent on our Darkspear Troll, which is fantastic. That's what we want. It's going to give us a lot of boss damage and also help us take the towers more quickly too. So there you go. Coated Spearhead. Exactly what we want. And this boss is quite hard. So I'm just going to double check because I think I did this boss twice because it's very easy to lose on this boss depending on how the spawns start out. So I'm going to quickly check. Yes, we lost the first attempt very quickly, and that is because essentially this boss comes down to a bit of luck, especially when you're fighting upwards in levels by quite a bit. If the boss sends stuff that you can clean up with a good Wellpegs, or you manage to get a really big value trade, like it can go quite smoothly. If you aren't able to get good value trade, that it can just go very badly. So the tactics for this are quite simple but hard to execute. The boss is going to send stuff at you either from this lane or this lane or this lane. You need to have a very solid defense. You need to defend with your life around this area, but you need to need to have a Darkspear Troll spawning somewhere here or somewhere here. But you need the Darkspear Troll to go towards this tower. Why? Because you have to take this tower pretty quickly. The way that we take this tower is by sending Darkspear Troll and spawning a Quillbore behind it. That takes the tower by itself. 5 gold investment. You then, once that tower is secure, take this tower. And then it's a simple case of just spawning stuff from the start, the front here, controlling this chest, and just trying to get as much damage on the boss as possible. I'll stop and pause when we get to the boss to talk about how we actually damage the boss. So, actually not bad. Actually, I like it when stuff spawns here, because this basically means that my Darkspear Troll is in the right lane. So my Darkspear Troll can be used on defense really nicely. You can see I'm going to spend a quill ball there straight away. One of a neat little tip that you might have just seen me do there. So you'll notice that I've got, I spawned Whelpegs directly in the poison. If you spawn Whelpegs directly in the poison, they will blow up instantly, which can kill a Darkspear Troll or a Mountaineer or deal a load of damage over to this guy here as well. You'll see that I've also used Defias Bandits in front of the Harvest Golem. Why have I done that? Because I want to keep my Darkspear Troll alive. This guy can tank the tower by himself for ages, so you don't have to worry too much about that. So we'll do that. Luckily, not quite in range of the tower just yet. And what am I going to do? I'm going to execute because I want to take the tower. So you see here that we did end up dying, but we took the tower in our favor. And with a safe pilot, that now means that we can start mining this gold. And safe pilot also goes over to the other side. So we've taken this tower for the time being. Now the real challenge is going to be retaining this tower, which with a Griffin Rider can be a bit difficult, but with Bloodshot Greaves actually coming in useful on this level because I can't spawn any other minis because I literally have no other things to spawn because I'm so devoid of gold. But it's not the worst thing in the world. Right, so that is now up for grabs, that central chest, but unfortunately the Darkspear Troll over on the right-hand side does claim it, so we sent Defias Bandits up there for absolutely no reason. In this case, you can see over here, I'm also going to get blasted by a Griffin Rider, but it's a good opportunity to use Whelpegs here. We're going to have a very solid defense over on this side, so you'll see I'll use Whelpegs. Healing from the Mountaineer, we're going to execute. Why am I going to execute? Because if the Mountaineer stopped healing, my Whelpegs would basically have just died. So we use we don't even really need to, we didn't need to use a safe pilot there. That was actually a major mistake on my part. Absolutely no reason to do that. We know that we're going to get another chest spawn in just a moment, but unfortunately I don't think my Defias Bandits are going to be good enough to take it by themselves. But we're sending now a Darkspear Troll over on this side here. We're going to use a Quillbore. We're going to try and go for this tower. Why am I sending a Quillbore up the middle? Because I want to take the gold for free. Not a big deal. So again, another situation here where we've almost taken the tower, but we have to go for a defense. Very tempting to use my Whelpegs to just blow up the tower in this scenario, but we would have lost the game. And this is what I mean about having just a very solid defense. It is so important that you have a solid defense, because yeah, you can very ultimately just straight up lose. If you let one push go through, they spawn an unbelievable amount of minis. If you let one push go through, it can basically result in you just losing. So we take this tower. Now we've got 2 towers. It is simply just about trying our best to defend these towers as best we can. So now we're actually at the boss phase. I'm going to pause. How do you attack the boss? Well, there are a couple of ways to do this. The boss has 2 moves. The boss launches one big like electric ball, which does a load of AoE damage, and then it has this laser focus, which is single target. You want to bait out the electric ball by spawning a Quillbore behind them, and then once the Quillbore spawned, you also want to spawn Whelpegs, and you want to then just try and protect your Darkspear Troll long enough. With Execute, maybe to boost the Darkspear Troll's attack speed or just deal damage to the boss. You want to protect the Darkspear Troll long enough to stack poison on the boss. And that's basically it. You just need to find the right opening. It's a bit of trial and error. You just need to find the right opening. There you'll see there's the Quillbore into the Whelpegs. We're going to use a safe pilot onto a couple of minis that actually get a really good value trade on them. The first time we're using Cairne, it's just to stop this side tower from going down. We don't want Cairne to... we don't want that side tower to drop just at this stage. Towards the end, you can kind of sacrifice pressure on a tower for going for the boss, but there you go. Right. So we're going to use... That's the big AoE. See, I messed up, you see? Messed up right there. The big AoE caught my... the big AoE ended up catching my... what's it called? The big AoE ended up catching my Darkspear Troll when it actually attacked my Kobold, which is crazy. Going to send another set of Defias Bandits down the middle. We'll try and clean up the majority of these with a... try and clean the majority of those. And now you can see what I'm doing here is just trying to protect my Darkspear Troll for long enough. Unfortunately, doesn't quite happen, but do a decent enough job to get some damage on the boss. Now, we're actually in an okay spot here. The reason we're in an okay spot here is because the boss has got a lot of poison ticking, and we can essentially just try and go for Execute spam at this point. We have lost the side tower. You notice that I said Sometimes you're going to sacrifice side tower pressure to go for the boss. This is one of those situations where we're going to sacrifice side tower pressure to go to the boss. So we just go for a Quillbore, Well Pegs, execute combo on the boss, and we end up winning. I really actually hate showing the final boss because it's really not that interesting. But I will do anyway. I won't probably do some drawing. Obviously, at this stage, I wouldn't usually take Orgrim Accommodation in runs, but at this stage, it doesn't matter because this boss is easy regardless of what you pick. All 3 of these relics are amazing. Orgrim Accommodation just makes this easier. But getting it on the final boss is a bit of a FU because we literally don't need it. This boss is super simple. And I'll quickly pause to talk about it. Right. These bulbs are going to spawn. You need to make sure that you kill them and not the enemy kill them. There are a couple of little tricks that you can use with this deck. Spawning Well Pegs in front of like a Molten Giant. The blast will actually blow up the bulb, which is great. Safe Pilot can catch 2 bulbs in 1 explosion radius, which is obviously useful later on. Yeah, that's about it. You want to cycle to your Kobold as much as possible because you have 2 gold mines, so cycling to Kobold, you don't want to like waste gold. Make sure that you are defending your base. The biggest way that you will lose on this level is by not defending your base. So, yeah, I'll kind of casually talk you through it because honestly, there isn't really much to say. One of the things that I do like about Execute is it obviously actually spawns a Orgrim and Grunt, which is great. The one piece of advice that I will give you is try not to overspend. So when there are no bulbs on the map, you don't really need to spend anything to get to them. But when there are bulbs on the map, just make sure you are, especially when you're on your side, spawning things to try and take them out. Defiance Bandits are really good as well. They're a 1 cost that can take the bulbs closest to your base. They're not that useful the closer you get, but yeah. No, you can't really deal any direct damage to the boss. Unfortunately, he will just basically one-shot most of your minis. You can get like a couple of odd hits in there here or there, but you really don't deal much damage at all. So you are pretty much exclusively relying on getting damage down to these bulbs. The other thing to note is that if you have flying minis, flying minis won't actually attack these. So your Well Pegs won't actually attack them. The only way for your Well Pegs to deal damage to these things is by having the blast do it for you. So again, just try not to waste your gold, cycling out to your Kobold to make sure you're not wasting gold, spawning on the sidelines. You can see that I'm actually cycling out here to get to Kobold, just to get that Kobold mining. It's okay to have a couple of things running down. In this case, obviously, we've got a few things. We're dealing loads of damage to the boss, though. There really isn't much to say. The boss is at 25% HP. I'm at basically 100% HP, so it could be worse. We are spawning Cairne a little bit on this level. The reason I'm spawning Cairne is because he does actually spawn an Orgrim and Grunt, so that's quite nice. Defiance Bandits again to take out one closest to us. We'll send a Darkspear Troll in just to make sure that we can get at least one of these, which we do. You can lose the odd one. It is really not a big deal if you lose the odd bulb. Because ultimately, you take damage. As long as you're protecting your base, you won't take any damage anyway. So as long as you're getting more bulbs than the enemy, that's how you're going to end up winning this one. Like I said, there isn't much tactically to talk about here. It's all about just cycling out to the Kobolds and making sure that you're not just mindlessly running minis into the boss. But you can do this one with your eyes closed, guys. And that is Gnomeregan. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I've got a blocked nose again for like the 50 billionth time in my life. I'll see you soon.